So, my name's Will, and I shave lives. And I normally get a really big laugh to that. But I also shave whales as well. And I'll come on to how we're going to be shaving the whales in a world which is drowning in plastic pollution. So I'm going to give you a very brief synopsis of me. I'm 54 now. I founded King of Shaves when I was 27. And long story short, I wasn't very good at school, but I did work really hard, but my grades weren't very good. They were like E's and F's, and mum and dad were teachers as well. So I carried on working and working and working, and I managed to go to university, to Polytechnic, and I studied engineering, which is a fantastic thing to do. It involves you working with products. And the great thing about products is that people have to use them every single day. Drinking water, like the gentleman with the refillable water bottle here, whether it's toothpaste, whether it's shaving gel, whatever it happens to be. But I'll explain how I came into that, because my first job was actually working in London, selling advertising to companies. Very boring, very hard work, ringing up people who didn't want to talk to me, selling them things that they didn't really want to buy. But I carried on doing it. I think I'll just leave that. You can hear me, can't you? Yeah? So I'll carry on doing it. And what happened was that I became, because I carried on doing it and was good at it, I did well in my work. But then in the early 1990s, before all of you guys were born, but mum and dads would of course been alive, there was a thing called a recession. And it meant everybody, lots of people lost their jobs. And we had lots of unemployment. And I lost my job. And I went from having a nice salary and a nice car and a nice girlfriend, a nice house, to having nothing. So I felt that was a bit sad. But what did I do? I decided to not just be sad about it. I thought, what could I do that would give me something that would solve a problem that I had? And what I hated doing at the time, as you can see, my talk is having the normal desired effect. No, you're okay.
We've got to get back to school. So sorry.
No, that's fine, don't worry. So what I did is I hated shaving. And why did I hate shaving? It's because I had a skin that was very rashy and very painful. So I came up with a product called King of Shaves, because my surname was King, and I used it. And I thought, well, if it works for me, then it might work for other people too. So my business strategy was, I enjoyed using the product and other people might enjoy using it too. And I have, I think, a product here that I will enjoy using from some of you guys who are selling it on one of the stalls here today. So to sell a product like you need a retailer. So I had to go to Boots, and I had to go to Harrods and companies like Tesco, and convince them to sell my product for me. And then over the years and years and years, because I was very passionate about it and very persistent about it and always worked the hardest I could work doing it, I was able to take the business from selling just £300 in the very first year to selling £30 million, which is a lot of shaving products to sell. Now, most of you probably don't know King of Shaves. Hands up if you've heard of a brand called Ted Baker. Lots more hands. So Ted Baker is a fashion brand founded by a guy back in the 1980s, and I rang him up along with my business partner, and I said, Mr. Baker, that's not his real name, we'd like to do a range of fragrance products for you. And he agreed. And I didn't know anything about fragrance at all with my business partner and me, but we showed that we had a passion and a determination. So 21 years ago, we were able to start creating Ted Baker fragrances and bath soaps and shower gels and cosmetics and toiletries. The sales of those now are around about £55 million a year, which is quite a lot, isn't it? So what the points I'd love you to remember, I'll come on to a simple little analogy to help you through life, is everything starts with a single step. Okay? Nobody is successful straight away. you start walking, and you start going somewhere. And as long as you know where you're going to try to go in life, you'll get there. I'm dressed like this. I've got jeans on, which is a bit naughty really, because it's a business event, and I've got training shoes on, and I've got sunglasses on my head, and I don't have a tie on. So you can be anybody you want to be. And I dress like this deliberately because when I started work, everybody all looked the same, wearing suits and ties, very boring. And I thought, no, I'd like to be a bit more individual. And the work and the environment you guys are growing up into now, you can all be your own individual. As you heard the lovely lady from the Elephants talk about. We can all share our problems, we can all talk about our issues, but the most important thing is that whatever you guys do in your lives, although you're so young, I've got a 19-year-old son, Cameron, you guys are obviously younger than that, it's really, really important that you all love what you do. And then it's never work. Because if you love something, who likes playing football here? How well are the England team doing, the ladies, the Lionesses? They're doing super well, aren't they? They love doing that, don't they? Now, 20 years ago, women's football wasn't very popular, which is silly, really, because half of the population are women. But now it's getting some of the biggest television viewing figures, so the women and the ladies who are playing football for England, they're getting better and better, and they could win the World Cup, which is something that the men's team has not done for many, many years. So they love doing that. Whether you want to be a teacher or a nurse or an entrepreneur or a guy who does shaving products and sells those to people to help them not get pain when they're shaving, or Ted Baker fragrance products, help them feel and smell nice and enjoy bathing, you can do all of that. So I have a little acronym, and it's called SPACE. And an acronym, do you know what an acronym means?
Yeah.
What's an acronym then?
Is that the opposite of something?
Not quite. It's like a shortcut. It's like an easy way of remembering something. So I call it SPACE, okay? And I call it SPACE because in 2007, Mr. Richard Branson got in touch with me. You've heard of Richard Branson? Owns Virgin. And he said, Mr. King, I'd like you to be the guy to shave my beard in space on my Virgin Galactic spaceship. So I was the 76th person to sign up to go up there. And I'm still waiting to go into space because it's still not up there. But I had to come up with this analogy. So the space, S. S is what I'll call satisfaction. Okay? Satisfaction means something that you've done really, really well and that you're really pleased with yourselves about. All of you guys here sitting so attentively, ready for lunch, wanting to get out of here, go and be in the sun, do all the stuff with your mates. But you're all sitting here, hopefully enjoying what I'm saying, and I'm delighted that, and I try to end every day feeling satisfied or pleased about something that I've done. So today I'll be really happy because I can drive back to my wife, and then I can say, this is what I did. I spoke to all these amazing young people about my journey. They should say, oh, how boring is that? That's so boring. They must have been so bored. And I'll say, they probably were, but they didn't show it. The second, so remember satisfaction. Do a job well, be proud about what you've done. You then have P. P is really important, okay? It's passion that I talked about. That's loving something. It's persistence. It's not giving up. You must never give up. However hard it might feel with your exams or your study or perhaps things that are upsetting you, you've got to try and keep going. And then you have what's called purpose. Okay, that means doing good, doing something that you feel good about. So with King of Shaves products, as you can see, this is one of the current products we sell at Boots. You see it's in plastic, which is not very good, is it, after watching Blue Planet and the whales and the poor turtles and all of the nasty stuff there. Now, I didn't know plastic was very, very bad, but I do now. So because I'm a business owner and I can change things, we're launching a brand new range with all of our King of Shaves products in aluminium and metal, and we've got a new brand called Code Zero, which is online, My Code Zero, and that's all about zeroing out stuff that's bad, and that will be in the retailers early next year. So I'm delighted that I can go from plastic to metal And metal's very good because it just rusts away normally and it doesn't end up inside Wales, which would be really sad. So my purpose, even though I'm now 26 years into my business, I want to leave my business in a good way. So my son Cameron thinks, yeah, Dad was a good dad. He didn't just keep selling plastic to people. He was better than that. You then have A, and the A in space is just attitude and action. It means if you're going to do something, just do it. Don't think about it, as long as it's not silly, you don't want to be doing it, but on the assumption it's good, just do it. And take that positive step. The C is confidence and common sense. So people like, confidence is a trait I think you get as you get older in life and you feel happy about how things are going. But people like confident people. They don't like arrogant people, people who are big-headed. Let's never be big-headed. But then you've got to also have common sense. Okay, your teachers will always be talking to you about common sense. Don't be silly. Think about what you do, why you're doing it. Use your brain to make the right decisions. And then the E in space is just enjoy. So it's a real pleasure for me to walk past the stall and listen to your teachers talking to you guys about the products that you're making and how you're doing them, the love that you're putting into them, all of that sort of stuff. And you're in a product business, or the people who've done that are. I'm in the product business, and people always want to keep clean and keep washed and keep refreshed and keep nice with lovely, natural, clean products. So to summarise, impossible is nothing. Just do it. You all can. And above all, just in your lives, as young as they are, try and love what you're doing. Try and be kind to each other and help each other when people are sometimes a bit sad, or maybe a little bit of a helping hand. Because if you put out into the world good, you often get good back. So it's lovely to speak to you all. My name's Will. Thank you very much for listening. Boom.
Thank you very much, Will. You have to shout this time.
Yeah, let's go for a big shout.
The microphone wasn't working so well.
Why did you use metal, not glass?
Why did I not use glass?
Why metal instead? Yeah.
Okay, so the problem with glass is if I drop it, it might break. So if you're in a bath or a shower, and if you accidentally drop my bottle of shaving oil, it's in glass, you might get cut on your foot, or it actually might cut your foot. So there are regulations and legislation around using products in certain environments. With a fragrance, you might, normally what happens is you get all dressed up and ready to go, and then you just spray it on and put it back on your bedside table. That's why. But that's a very good question. And glass is very good. It's quite heavy though, and it's obviously very fragile.
Got another question over here? No, in a minute. On here.
When did you first shave?
Oh goodness me, so I started shaving quite late. So I always wanted to start shaving and have a big beard like this gentleman here, because beards are very cool now and lots of cool young people have them. But around about 18 or 19 years old, it happens when you go through what's called puberty, when you change from being a child into an adult. But when I was shaving, it was very painful. And I just did the shaving oil, which is all natural, lovely oils, and it stopped me getting razor burn. But when I was quite old, it very much depends on your age. And of course, there's no need to shave at all. You can just be the individual that you are.
Look, one down here.
When you had first started out your business, did you expect it to be where it is today? And would you have, if you were able to, would you go back and change something if you could?
Great questions. So, because the product worked for me, I thought it would be a success. And then what I did is I spent 2 weeks hand filling 10,000 of these bottles at home with a pump that took me 2 weeks to do. And then I was very persistent in trying to get Harrods first, Mr. Al-Fayed, who owned Harrods, and Boots, the big retailer. I said, it works for me, it works for me. And if it works for me, it will work for other people, trust me. And I had no money, but I believed in myself. And then suddenly when our sales went from £300 a year to £50,000 and then to £1 million, obviously lots of people agreed with me. So that was good. Would I change anything? I'm only became an entrepreneur, as we're called now, because I lost my job. So I was very sad about that. I had a very nice job, and I was very happy doing it. And then one day I didn't have a job, so I had to do. And I was very angry about that. So I thought I'll trust myself and I'll do my own thing. So all of the failures and the successes over the past 25 years, I wouldn't go back and change anything, because they've made me who I am and why I'm here with you guys today.
Excellent. We've got one there on the front row.
Gentleman here.
Lady.
Oh, sorry, lady.
Why do you want to shave?
Why do you want to shave? Well,
Oh, it is.
so shaving is. That's a very good question. Okay, so I think some people feel. Well, when I was younger, only mad professor types of people had big beards. When the internet came along, and people started expressing themselves using products and looking very cool, we were able to change fashion. So what happened with Hollywood and celebrities like David Beckham, about 10, 12 years ago, they started going, everybody's clean shaven, we'll grow beards. At the end of the day with shaving, it's a preference. Okay, I like having a shave every morning, so I have about 5 minutes in my bathroom before my wife tells me to get out of the bathroom and let her into the bathroom. Little bit of space for me. Also keeps your skin quite clean, and I think I look better clean shaven than I do with a beard. This gentleman here, you see, is rocking a very cool beard, and that's part of his individuality, but it's entirely to do with you as an individual, the way you style your hair, the way you dress, what you look like, who you are. It should reflect you. But now about 50% of men are shaven, clean shaved like me, and about 50% have got beard or stubble. And I have King of Beards as well, but that's not so big as King of Shaves.
And we've got one last question, our favourite questioner.
Why did you choose to make this the shaving?
Why did I?
Want to choose to make the shaving?
What did I use to make it?
Why did you choose it? So why when you decided to go shave.com, why shave? Why not something else?
So when you're starting out, you never have any money, okay? That's the hardest thing to get. So you need to get what's called awareness. And the internet, this thing called the internet came along. Now it's Snapchat and it's WhatsApp and it's Facebook and Twitter. But before the internet, the only way of telling people about your business was to be with them in a room like this, or perhaps do an advert on television that would be very expensive. The internet came along, and you were able to buy something like I bought shave.com as well as King of Shaves as well. So when people just started looking for things to do with shaving, they'd find me. And that was worldwide. So I basically went from nobody knowing about King of Shaves in 1995 to the whole world knowing about it in 1995. And then when you look at things like Instagram now and what goes on in Snapchat or social networks, anybody can know everything. And if this is being broadcast, as it often is, onto the internet, anybody in the world can see what I'm talking to you guys about. So that's why I did it. Is that a good explanation? Do I go to the top of the class on that? Maybe.
Excellent.
Are we good? Any more? Fantastic. You've been a great... Oh, look, quick.
Yep.
Close shave. You were there.
Supported you to be the person who you are today? Who supported you to be the person who you are?
So that would be my mum and dad, because I was very lucky to have very loving mum and dad who are both teachers. And then my wife, Tiger. I've got a very lovely wife called Tiger Savage, who's a creative director in advertising. She's helped me. And then lots of friends along the way who've sometimes seen me sad as well as being happy, who've supported me. But mainly my mum and dad, I think. So I'm very lucky there. Hopefully, I'm sure you have a lovely mum and dad too. I hope you do.
One last question. One last one.
Knowing what you know today, would you have decided to become an entrepreneur sooner?
I don't know. So I was very happy doing my job because it's a really fun job. What I did is I worked and I did car launches and I did big events and I did a birthday party for Prince Charles to the Prince's Trust, for example. That was great fun. And I would have carried on doing that because I really enjoyed it. I got to meet people and do exciting things. I chose to do my own business because I wanted to believe in myself. But I have lots of people who work with me who don't really want to be entrepreneurs, but they love being in the company of entrepreneurs. So the people who work with me, most of them have been with me for over 22 years, which is a super long time. And over that time, we've helped them enjoy their life, but they haven't had to take the risks. Because being entrepreneur at the start, it's a little bit risky. You don't know if it's going to work or not, which is why it's really important you believe in what you do.
Excellent.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Will.
guys.
Give another massive round of applause to Will King.